Welcome back. Well, the Biden administration says it is relying on, quote, safe passage from the Taliban to get Americans out of Afghanistan. Just 6 weeks ago, President Biden said he did not trust the Taliban. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki doubled down about it yesterday when she was asked. Watch.
Do you guys have any assurances that the Taliban is clearing the safe passage to the airports? And what are the consequences to them if they do not?
Well, the consequences are the full weight and force of the United States military, and I think we've made that clear. But right now, and we're not trusting, we're not taking their word for it. We are watching closely.
The Congressional Honoring Promises Working Group started pressing the White House for expedited SIV and U.S. refugee admission programs back in April. Joining me right now is Ohio Congressman. He is an Iraq War veteran himself, Brad Wenstrup. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. Thank you for your service to our country. You are part of this group together. You've sent the president 3 letters. What are you looking for?
Well, we're looking for the president to act on behalf of those that have served us and served us so well. I'm very familiar with this process. I supported several of our interpreters that I worked with in Iraq, and they have become productive U.S. citizens. We knew that this was going to be a problem. This didn't seem to be being addressed by the administration. And as we were leaving suddenly, and we were leaving without notice, except for very short notice at times, without informing the Afghan government or their Afghan military. So our recent letter of August 13th.
Yep. Yep.
Our recent letter of August the 13th came after what Secretary Blinken put in place, which is a P2 program, Priority 2, refugee admissions program, if you will. What it allows Afghans that have worked with the United States NGOs, worked as journalists, civil servants, on behalf of our efforts in Afghanistan. The problem with it is they can only apply for this outside of Afghanistan. Currently, and as of last week, they could not get to any third country by air to be able to do this. And they really can't go by road. I certainly don't trust the Taliban to say, oh, that's what you're going to do? Yeah, sure, go ahead. And this is a problem for U.S. personnel as well that are in Afghanistan trying to get to the airport. So we asked the administration to persuade our neighbors to open things up, to allow people to come in, to evacuate to a third country. And on our end, maybe we take them to Guam and then process them. That's the intent of the Afghan Allies Protection Act of 2009. We have a moral obligation here. I received a text from one of the interpreters that I worked with, and he said, the image of American morality is being tested, and so far it's not doing so well.
Well, Congressman, how did this go wrong? I mean, we spoke with Kash Patel a little while ago, former Department of Defense Chief of Staff, who talked to us about the conditions-based plan that the Trump administration had put in place with the Taliban. What happened in terms of President Biden and following that plan? How is it possible that we have up to 40,000 Americans still in Afghanistan? And do we know if it's 40 or is it 15,000? I'm just, really, I'm outraged that we don't have the actual exact number of Americans who are in Afghanistan. But how does it happen that you've got so many people still there trying to get out, and all of that armament, our weaponry, also left behind for the Chinese Communist Party or the Taliban or anybody else to inspect?
I serve on the Intelligence Committee, and I just asked yesterday for an assessment of all that we are leaving behind as far as our military equipment, et cetera. Also, to address what you're talking about, the number of people, I don't know the accurate number. But also, I think it's interesting that President Biden, who reversed so many of the things that Donald Trump did, has now said that he inherited this problem. If he had stuck to what the Trump administration had done, we wouldn't be in this position today, I'm convinced, because there were conditions within that, and he has ignored the conditions. We were going to leave slowly, gradually. We were going to do it methodically, and we were going to do it as long as the Taliban was doing what they were supposed to do. And as Mike Pompeo said, if they didn't do it, we crush them. That is the difference.
That's right. Yeah, let me ask you about the implications of all of this, because there is some conversation taking place that this massive mistake on the part of Joe Biden and his administration may actually be the major thing that stops the Democrat spending spree. We know we've got infighting continuing within the House, 9 Democrats calling on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to take up the bipartisan infrastructure deal before their budget resolution. But on a call with Democrat leadership on Monday, Pelosi apparently pushed back, saying it's not time for amateur hour. OK, she's calling it amateur hour now. To ensure the passage of both bills, they have to stick with the original plan, which introduces the reconciliation package first, Congressman. Does this Afghanistan quagmire blow up the president's economic agenda? What's your take?
Well, it may do that, and that may be one of the promising things or positive things that comes out of all this. And if that's what happens, then for the better. To call this amateur hours is insulting to her own members. But as we know, we have seen what's going on. The Senate has already taken up a budget resolution, which is $68 trillion over 10 years, increases in taxes of up to $3.5 trillion. It starts the process for amnesty. You know, the problem is inflation is kicking in. Americans are feeling it. That is a tax on them. We see the situation she has in the House. Her progressives want the $3.5 trillion reconciliation package passed first before they will do infrastructure. And the moderates say, no way. They're feeling the pressure at home, and they can't vote for the $3.5 trillion package. So she has a quandary on her hands. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. We're going to see some of the drama next week when we return on Monday.
By the way, Congressman, we're supposed to be talking and recognizing the Taliban now, Congressman. I mean, you know, was this a coup that the Taliban went in and pretty much forced the Afghan government out, and so now they achieved this coup? Isn't that what it is? And we're supposed to be recognizing them?
Oh, it sure seems like a coup to me. And this is the same group that harbored terrorists that attacked the United States of America. If you remember, George Bush said, if you're a terrorist, we're coming after you. If you harbor terrorists, we're coming after you as well. That was the mission from the very beginning. To say that we completely accomplished our mission, that's false, because this is the group that harbored terrorists that killed thousands of Americans on 9/11. And that anniversary is coming up in just a few weeks. Yes. Yes,
it is. And of course, the Chinese Communist Party is recognizing the Taliban. So they're watching this closely and ready to get in there. Congressman, I know this is a situation that you think is incredibly dire as well. The CCP will save that for the next time we chat. We so appreciate your time this morning, sir. Thank you.
Yep, the Chinese aren't leaving there. Thank you.